decided, okay, because of COVID, because of all these players going out because of COVID, because of all the issues, the commissioner of this league decided, okay, everybody makes the playoffs this year. And I'm like, that's a dumb idea. Everybody makes the playoffs. He's like, yeah, but, that's the decision that was made. I'm like, all right, whatever. So this year, in that league, so close. Anyway, this year, in that league, I sucked. I absolutely sucked. I ended up like 4-7 or 4-8 or some junk like that. I don't know, whatever. And I ended up with out of the 12 teams in the league. So it was actually 12 teams. I went down from 14, but out of the 12 teams in the league, I was the 11th seed, and I was matched up against my brother-in-law in week 1 or in the first round of the playoffs, and I wrecked him. So now I'm in the second round. Second round this week, won again. I'm in the final 4 now, and I have a pretty good shot of running the table because my team is waking up. It's insane that I could win that trophy again. Anyway, let's talk about our league, because like I said, we're going to be doing a bit with fantasy analysis today. There is an assignment on Google Classroom that is due at 2 o'clock. That is part 1 of the project. I am also going to be introducing to you and assigning you part 2 of the project today. It's going to take a little bit. We are also, after I go over this analysis real quick with the final week of the regular season, we are also going to have a March Madness style bracket where you guys are going to make your predictions as to who is moving on in our fantasy playoffs. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. I'll have to throw in the something into the into the Google stream, just so people have that for the people who are watching live. But anyway, let's take a look at this. So you can see right here are top 6. No clear tiebreaker needed at all between the teams that made the playoffs and the teams that didn't make the playoffs. They did it! Okay, whatever. No one's excited about an 0-13 team? Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Again, there are other stronger teams, but we'll see what happens. You can see this was broken though. They did get a. You guys did get a. Where'd he go? There he is. You did get a high score. You got a high score this past week. But you didn't make the playoffs. Yeah. All the other teams that did get high scores did make the playoffs though. All right. So I usually have some, meaningless awards in terms of in the other league that I do. I kind of award these at the end of the season. Obviously, you have a regular season champion, typically best record. And then if there's a tiebreaker, it's points for. So you get a regular season champion. Then, according to my rankings, which I did not update these yet. I should do that now. According to my rankings here, I do have a scoring champion, which just so happens to be the same team. But then I have what is known as the bad break champion. The bad break champion is the team that has the most points against. The most points against. Falco Allen. Although Falco's not in the class anymore. It's pretty close. Anyway. Strength of schedule, there's no award for that. I just need to resort this. There we go. And then true win percentage, same thing. No real winner there. Just I got to sort this because now I can name the MVP and the LVP of the league.
Yeah, now you guys don't want to start chirping over there. You guys have the weakest.
Oh, goodness. So, put that thing down. Come on, man. We'll see what happens. But yeah, you can see, he won the MVP. Just saying. And then we got an LVP. Now, here's the thing. In my other league, I have an additional categorization called Triple Crown and Grand Slam. You win the Triple Crown if you are regular season champ, scoring champ, and overall champ. So you only win the Triple Crown if you win those three things. You haven't won it yet. And then you win a Grand Slam in the other leagues, the other league that I'm the statistician for. You win the Grand Slam if you win all of those and MVP. But no one's ever done it in 14 years in that other league that I've been in. No one's ever done it. No one's ever won a Triple Crown. No one's ever won a Grand Slam. But anyway, it's where we're at. That's a shame. Sorry, he's like ranked 7th. They're ranked 7th, so but they missed the playoffs. Anyway, here I am, ranked 4th. Anyway, whatever. Cool. Now, let me give you this. I'm going to give you a little time to kind of look into this. But I want to pass these out first. As I said, we're going to be doing a little March Madness, but obviously not with college basketball because, well, there's no March Madness at the moment. We're not in March. But I created brackets for our fantasy playoffs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to the Google Stream. There it is.
Of course, I gotta play you guys, Colin.
Let's see. Make a copy. Don't edit the original. There we go. Post. So for those of you in the chat, I sent the thing or the bracket into the Google Stream so that you can see it there. I'm going to ask for those of you in the chat that would like to participate in our March Madness Fantasy Playoffs that you make a copy of said Google Sheet and that you fill it out that way. Don't edit the original, but make a copy of it and then send that to me. So this is why I said the Chromebooks are definitely going to be needed for today for a lot of different reasons. So number one, your name goes at the top, just your name, because everybody's going to have their own individual bracket. I'm going to fill out my bracket later because I haven't done any analysis on it. But I'm going to allow you some time, kind of at the moment. I'm going to explain other things along the way. But kind of at the moment, I'm going to allow you to kind of do the analysis of like, okay, this team versus this team, matchup versus this matchup kind of thing. And we're going to have our own little March Madness thing going on. Which spreadsheet? This one? The one that I show you week by week? No, that's my own personal spreadsheet. I know. Because those are proprietary formulas. Here's the thing. Anthony, I had you in 10th grade, right? For a little bit? Yeah. I don't think you were there that year because that was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Were you there the year I had a student teacher? Okay, that was probably the year before then. I had a student teacher one year, and she was fantastic. Fantastic. For 3 months, she taught the class, and I never had to worry about anything because she taught basically like a veteran teacher. So you know what I did for those 3 months? I worked on fantasy stats at my desk. That's what I did for 3 months. And it was amazing. Anyway. Well, Aiden, why wouldn't you want to do this? He says we don't have to do this, do we? Why would you not want to have a fantasy bracket like this? Anyway. Now, here's one thing I am going to ask of you. Hold on. Here's one thing I am going to ask of you. Hold on. I need a tiebreaker. So here's the tiebreaker that I'm going to ask you for. If in the end, I have multiple students who are tied for first place in this fantasy bracket, I need a tiebreaker. So the tiebreaker that I'm going to have is this. Where it says finals, right in between there, I'll point to it on the screen in a moment. I would like you to write as a tiebreaker the total number of points that you think will be scored in the championship round. Total. Combined, yes. The total combined score, because I need a tiebreaker. So in the finals, right here, I want you to write as a tiebreaker the total number of points that you believe will be scored in the championship round. Yes. I know, and again, it's a pure guess, but I need a tiebreaker, obviously. And that's if the points are kind of stacked up. Now, the way that it's going to work, the way that the final point totals are going to work are going to be very similar to that of March Madness. If you correctly guess a first-round matchup, just like ESPN does for March Madness, if you correctly guess a first-round matchup or have your team still in it, that's worth 1 point. If you correctly guess a second-round matchup, that's going to be worth 2 points. And if you correctly guess the finals, then that's going to be 4 points. And that's the way the point totals are going to work. In March Madness, that's typically how it's done. You get I think it's 10 points for first round, 20 for second. Then it goes 40, 80, 160, and 320 for the championship round in March Madness on ESPN at least. But that's the way that I'm going to set this up. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. Of course, there is a spot in the top left of that paper for you to write your own name. So please make sure that you're putting your name on it because I'm going to be collecting these in a little bit. I just want to give you an opportunity to do some final analysis if need be. It's going to be awesome. Oh, March Madness. March Madness got canceled last year, right? That sucks. Yeah. I was gonna do a teacher pool for that, where I was gonna get a bunch of just throw in $5, but it's winner take all. It would have been great. Whatever. I don't even watch college basketball, but I know how to analyze the stats. All right. Now I'm going to collect them in a minute, but let me kind of fill you in on what's going to be happening next. What's going to be happening next is I'm going to recap a little bit of part 1 of the project, and I'm going to introduce part 2. After I introduce part 2, I am going to give you some time in class today to work on those parts. I'm going to give you some time. This is why I said the Chromebooks are going to be a big deal today. I'm going to give you some time to work on those projects. Now, obviously, if your partner is here, obviously, we cannot just, go to a part of the room and put the desks together. We can't do that today. But obviously, if you and your partner wanted to be 6 feet apart from each other and have that discussion, that's up to you. But I wanted to give you an opportunity to finish part 1, which obviously the last game ended up last night. You see Lamar Jackson, 2 touchdowns, throwing, 1 rushing. Yes, they will. Dude, the Browns, what the heck, dude? As long as they make the playoffs. Anyway. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. All right. So wrap up your brackets. Pass them up to the front. I know whatever. I may have to, I don't know, at some point pick myself. But yeah, make sure you're putting that point total. I'm just checking right now. Mind you, I haven't even set my lineup for this week. So no one has me going into the finals. I see how it is. Just watch what's going to happen. I don't know. I think I did. I think you pick yourself. Okay, so let me introduce to you. By the way, those of you in the chat, if you're going to fill that out, make sure you share that copied spreadsheet with me so that I have yours as well, and I'll keep track of that for y'all. Now, let's talk about the next part of the project. Now, in a couple of minutes, the next part of this project is going to be live to you. I scheduled it almost perfectly to be assigned to you at 8:45, and we're almost right there. It's going to be great. But let me recap part one real quick. Some of you have already turned in part one. Good for you if you've already turned in part one. If you haven't turned in part one, then of course, you need to get part one done. But as I kind of showed you in part one, you need it, and there's a video kind of showing you where to find this stuff on the ESPN website. But I want you to write out your actual scores for weeks 1 through 13. I want you to write out your projected scores according to ESPN. Again, that video shows you where to find that information. And then, of course, the result of a win versus loss. And the analysis for each week, as I showed you on Monday, the analysis for each week, I wanted you to go in and find a player that overperformed and find a player that underperformed. This will eventually all go into a final project. This is just the little parts that are leading up to it. So we need to make sure we're getting this thing done. That's what I explained on Monday, and that's what I did in the video. But now here's part two. Part two. Part two will be live to you in a little bit. But let me read it to you first. For part two, with your partner, I want you to revisit your team week by week. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Analyze who you started versus who you left on the bench. You are to determine what your maximum score would have been if you started the right players during that week. Fill out the attached spreadsheet with your partner and submit it via this Google Classroom assignment. Let me show you the spreadsheet so you know exactly what is expected of you. So what's going to happen is this. For week one in this spreadsheet, I'll do an example for me. I would fill out my actual score and the result of that matchup. So if I opened up fantasy right here, went to the actual thing here, filled out my schedule here, Chapow, good. I scored 121.4. That's actual projected. I scored 121.4, and it was a win. Good for me. But what's my theoretical score? Well, if I go into that week, as I've done before for projected, my bench is still listed. My bench is still listed. Of course, you can only start quarterbacks at the quarterback spot. So if I look at Lamar Jackson had 27.5. Matt Ryan had 23.9. I made the right decision. Deshaun Jackson is wide receiver. Wide receiver, I got 31 and 9.3. Nope, I made the right decision. Marlon Mack, running back, 8.6. Sonny Michael, 9.7. Oh, yeah, I could have easily done that. So hold on. So 9.7 right here. You see, is that how you pronounce it? Sonny Michael or Michelle? Michelle, whatever. So he actually scored 9.7, and I had James Conner at 3.7. Clearly, that's an additional 6 points that I could have had. So, hold on. Key substitutions. I would type out Michelle for Connor +6. If I could actually type in +6. Make that a little wider. There we go. That's one key substitution right there. Then let's see who else I had. I had Ebron as tight end. Nope. Kicker, Lutz. Oh, Lutz. He would have got me an extra point. Lutz for Tucker. All right, hold on. Lutz for Tucker +1. Okay. And then let's see, Lions D got 0. Okay, yeah, and that's all that was on the bench. So theoretically, I had an additional 7 points. So that would have been 128.4. Now this last category right here, would the L change? Now that's only if you lost. If you won, you would leave that column blank. But if you lost, you would have to determine, okay, would my theoretical score have beaten my opponent that week? And then that's when you would do, oh, yes, it would, or yes. So for now, I just leave that blank because it doesn't affect me right here. You're going to go through it week by week. You're going to put out the key substitutions, keeping track of how many extra points it would have gotten you. And, oh, I didn't even check. There's one position I didn't check. Do you know what it is? Yeah, the flex position. I didn't check the flex position. I had Emmanuel Sanders at 10.5. Now, mind you, I can't start a QB there. You can only do what? Wide receiver, running back, tight end? Yeah, that was the best choice. So I'm good there. But that's what you're going to do. You and your teammate can split this up, or you and your teammate could go through it piece by piece. That would be fantastic, but this is what you're going to fill out. I'm going to give you the time right now to either finish up part 1, which is, bless you, which is due today at 2, or to get a huge head start on part 2, which is due Friday. Yes.
For the part 1 and the overperform.
Yes.
When I put a player, do I have to put what they're projecting?
Let me show you. Oh, wait, I think I deleted my example. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, usually if I did overperformed, I'll usually just put like, I'll try to put like short notes for it. For example, like I would put, I know James Conner was underperformed. Under underperformed, I would put Conner. I'll write it out up here so you can see it. My marker. Here we go. I would put Conner projected at 16.2, actual 3.7. I would just type it out like that. Yeah. James Conner. What do you guys think? The Chiefs. Was that actually a catch for Hill?
That was a catch. It just fell right in.
But I'm just like, he didn't think he caught it. I understand why he didn't think he caught it. But like, why didn't they challenge it? Yeah.
Oh, who cares? If I share this with my partner, we're gonna win this.
Yes, you can share it with your partner. Your partner can share it with you as long as you guys are working together, so you're not doing double the work. You know what I'm saying? Because if you do it all and then your partner does it all, dude, just share information with each other. Yeah. So, obviously, I'm going to be here to answer questions, and to kind of have these discussions if need be, and we'll kind of go from there. But you guys have plenty of time right now. Yeah, let me. Oh, got him right here. Now use your own. Yeah, use your own pen. Whatever.
I don't have it.
Fine.
Take it.
Goodness.
Mr. Mark, what's his room number?
C205. Did part 2 go live for you guys? Okay, just making sure.
Mr. Markey, are your previous live streams on YouTube still?
Yes. The ones from this class. Now, mind you, Mondays is still unlisted. I got to update that. I make them unlisted because if I don't, then random people that are not in the school would pop in just by searching for it, which I've had happen in the past. So I make them unlisted and then I make them listed and I organize them into a playlist. So if you go to my school YouTube channel, my school YouTube, and you go to the actual channel page itself, there's created playlists, and every single lesson that I've taught for you guys this year is under that period 2B playlist. So it should all be there. I could actually update the rest of it now. Oh, someone get it. Yeah, it's So, Anthony, if you see what I got up here, I believe I updated it all, but any video that I've made for you guys is automatically updated to a playlist that is made public for you. And I updated it all up through this past Monday. So, yay! It's amazing. I love this stuff sometimes. Oh. no.
Where we still be pledging winner loss, right?
Yes. You're talking about part one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. There's, come get this. Fill that up. Stop dropping stuff.
Yeah, that's my phone, sorry.
Last Yeah.
What if there was no one to switch? What if you were posting it?
Make that note then, because that can happen. Obviously, you could have made all the right decisions. Well, just make the note saying that I already had the best team, or what? I don't know how to word that. That sounds too cocky. But, I don't know. What's up?
Pull up Connor's email for me. Shared with him.
We got. Oh yeah, he's probably virtual now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It should just be Darren Cernansky. Darren dash Cernansky.
All right.
Yeah, at RenegadeSchools.com. Sorry. It's a luck of the draw sometimes.
Does he like hand anything in? See it live?
I've made multiple attempts to contact home and guidance. I've asked guidance. They don't know what's going on. No. I don't know what happens to most people. I'm trying to reach out. I'm trying to do my due diligence, short of actually going to the kid's house, Like, get on your fantasy team. I don't know.
Come on, get a grip over there. It's the second time it's like
No, you're not. Anyway, like I said, those due dates are put in place. We'll have a more detailed conversation on Friday. I'm a sign off. You never know what's going to happen in the play.